Jimmy Garoppolo. Are we going to get a little evil Jimmy as we ask Kyle Juszczyk? I mean, I think that was my favorite question that we asked him. Is Jimmy Garoppolo going to go rogue and just sort of do what he wants now to win football games instead of just run it the way Kyle Shanahan says, Jimmy, I want you to run it? Well, I guess that question was asked in a slightly more delicate way. Jimmy, are you going to be attacking downfield more at today's press conference?
I love that. Yeah, I mean, it's just, there's a lot of things that go with that, obviously. But, yeah, I love doing that stuff. In 17, there was a freedom where me, the receivers, tight ends, we had a good chemistry going. And when you get that with offensive skills in a quarterback, it makes for a tough offense.
Is anyone else hearing what I'm hearing? Is anyone else hearing Jimmy Garoppolo saying, if you don't like the way I play, of course I deserve some of that, but the way that I've been coached to play might deserve a little of it too. And I really hope that Jimmy is the kind of guy who isn't just sacrosanct to anything that Kyle Shanahan says, this is the way we want it done. Because all Jimmy Garoppolo at any point in time needs to do this year is say, my ankle feels funny. Have fun with Brock Purdy. If I'm Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm letting it rip. Like, I'm serious. Like, whatever I'm comfortable doing on the field, I am going to do that. And a couple of things that I might be a touch uncomfortable with, but I think the moment's there, I'm going to approach that moment. I really am. What does Jimmy have to lose? What does Jimmy have to lose? His job? Impossible. As long as he's healthy, he is the starting quarterback of the 49ers the rest of the way.
But that's not him.
Did you just hear him?
I heard what he said. He could talk about what it is all he wants. But the fact is, for 3 years now, we've seen him be this guy.
Right. Those are 3 years under different circumstances than this one's under.
But no, they still are trying to get to a Super Bowl. And he's not going to buck Kyle Shanahan on this.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I mean, he's not going to.
It's what you would do.
No. I think it's what Jimmy's going to do, because Jimmy is trying to serve two masters here. Would Jimmy like to win a Super Bowl? Sure. Okay. You know what he's also trying to do? Audition for the next team. If I were Jimmy Garoppolo, what I wanted to do would be just as important as team accomplishments at this point, because what the team wanted to do was get rid of me. And now here I am wearing Superman's cape. Yeah, I'm going to dance with kryptonite if I want to.
But again, that's not who he is.
It's not what I just
heard. Because he
heard.
knows his marketability goes up if they win it all. And I don't believe in his heart of hearts he thinks he can let it rip and have them win.
Again,
you could talk about leverage all you want.
Roll back that 2017 one more time on this soundbite.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, it's just, there's a lot of things that go with that, obviously. But, yeah, I love doing that stuff. In 17, there was a freedom where me, the receivers, tight ends, we had a good chemistry going. And when you get that with offensive skills in a quarterback, it makes for a tough offense.
A freedom, Ray. Take these chains away from me and let me just play.
And Kyle Shanahan's going to say, no, we're going to do this the way I wanted to do it. And then Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't have a thing to say. And the reason why he doesn't have a thing to say is because ultimately that gets around to. And Jimmy Garoppolo is going to find the market will be less forgiving. If they don't win at all, and he suddenly has a reputation as a guy who likes to argue with his coach, that's not going to sell well. If he's going to enter the open market, he's got to be able to say, I did what they asked me to do.
Oh, but that's already established.
Okay, no, it's not. It's not established if he goes rogue this year.
You being the perfect little soldier is already established. Jimmy's professionalism will not be questioned.
It will be if he decides to go rogue.
I'm not talking about going rogue, Ray. I'm not talking about now all of a sudden it's, he is. I'm audibling out of every single running play. I'm throwing 65 times a game. I'm not saying he's doing that, but all he needs to do is say, Kyle, I thought I saw it. I took a stab. I thought I saw it. I thought I saw the right move for the team in the moment, so I did it. And that's it. I mean, that's the thing. Jimmy, I really hope his Little Lord Fauntleroy days are over. I really do.
Yep.
Because I've seen what carefully measured Jimmy Garoppolo looks like. And he still makes as many mistakes as letting her rip Jimmy Garoppolo could be assumed to be made. So you might as well throw that interception, Jimmy, 55 yards downfield instead of 15 yards downfield.
It's not him. I mean, at some point you have to accept that he signed off on this.
It was him in 2017 before Kyle got his hooks in him.
And before they were any good. The fact is, Kyle Shanahan can go up to Jimmy Garoppolo and said, doing it the way I wanted to do it, we've gotten to a Super Bowl, a conference final, and you've become a guy who makes $26 million a year.
And then you took that away from me.
Yeah.
Now I'm making $6 million plus incentives. You
Yep.
jag off. So we're going to do it my way now.
Well, then, I guess we'll see Brock Purdy a lot sooner than we thought.
Purdy time. Jimmy Garoppolo talked about if the Niners moving on from him has polished the chip on his shoulder.
Not really. I think it lights a fire under you. I'll tell you that. Obviously, as a competitor, whenever you get told something like that, it'll get you going a little bit. But I have plenty of motivation. I don't need that to motivate me, but it always helps.
There you go. I mean, don't tell me it's not a little personal. At this point, it officially gets filed under this is a little personal. It's not. If I'm Jimmy Garoppolo, I have a team goal that I'm obviously looking to work towards because I'm a good teammate, and Jimmy has been a good teammate. There's enough feedback from his teammates to confirm Jimmy Garoppolo's a good teammate. They really like him. I think Jimmy could look at this as, hey, I'm going to do what's best for me. I'm going to do what's best for what might be best for me, by the way, could be the difference in the style of game that we're playing that finally gets us over the hump. Because doing the same thing just over and over and over again is insane. Being the ultra buttoned up, ultra conservative offense that we have seen has officially left the 49ers a few yards too short of a Super Bowl or reaching a second Super Bowl. And we've seen it. We've seen what carefully constructed Jimmy Garoppolo looks like. I'm looking for a little deconstructed Garoppolo. Might be interesting. One more quote from Jimmy today on how play calling has changed while he's been here.
I guess it's kind of, in 17, I was learning the offense. So Kyle would call some plays, and I wouldn't know exactly, how to read it, I guess, but you'd kind of figure it out as you went. And I don't know, just the more and more that you learn the offense and get the knowledge of the offense, I start to figure out what Kyle's thinking, and he, vice versa. But there's obviously just some back and forth between the play caller and quarterback.
I think there's going to be a little bit more back and forth between play caller and quarterback than just forth from the play caller to the quarterback. I do hope that Jimmy really weighs in, not just conversationally with what he wants to do out there, but with a throw or two, a pass or two. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Well, it hasn't worked out to this point anyways, and look what they were trying to do you as. They did you wrong, Jimmy. They did you wrong. From the day that, again, I didn't do Jimmy wrong. Would I have moved on from Jimmy too? Sure, but it's not my call. It is Shanahan's call. It is Shanahan's call. He made the call. He said, I'm done with him. Absolutely done with him. And then through a sequence of dominoes falling, here he is once again. If I'm Jimmy, I'm just not letting Kyle push my domino any way he wants to anymore. If I think I got an idea that is better than the one that just got sent into the huddle, damn it, I'm running it.
And I think you overestimate his willingness to do that.
I think you're underestimating it. I think you're underestimating it with ample evidence pouring into your ear right now that he is a little bit not thrilled with how this all went down. What happened when you were here in 2017? Man, I was just learning. I was just kind of winging it. I think he wants to do that again. Because, by the way, when he was doing it that way, they were 5-0. They were 5-0 with a team that's worse than this.
I don't see Jimmy Garoppolo as a guy who's going to buck authority. I've never seen that in him. I don't believe it exists. I believe he's going to be the good soldier to the end, and he'll turn that into another contract with another team.
But here's the deal. Hasn't he run that version of Jimmy? Like I said, Jimmy 1.0, 2.0. This is Jimmy 3.0. It might be a different operating system from here on out.
Except that you're casting the last 3 years as failure, when in fact they are one overthrown pass and one dropped interception from at least one ring and a second trip to the Super Bowl. So maybe one more pass, one more play that were different could be the difference in everything. And if I'm Jimmy, that's the way I'm thinking. I really am. And I don't doubt that if you're Jimmy, that's the way you're thinking. But that's not Jimmy, and I don't believe it's the way he's thinking. I believe he's going to go down, however this goes down, as the same guy he's always been, as the coachable, relatively obedient guy that everybody likes. Doesn't operate in stress or friction. I think this is who he is. He's shown you who he is, and I think he's going to stay that.
I think players change. I don't think any one person remains the exact same person they were under different circumstances year after year after year, especially when you just got them as large a screw you as the Niners actually gave him. So I don't know. I hope you're wrong. I hope I'm right, because it could be the difference in, well, the year ended without a championship and the year became more interesting. This is David in Redwood City. David, you're on 95.7 The Game. What do you got?
Hey, guys. You know what? At some point during the Super Bowl, I kind of thought about Jimmy G just saying, you know what, the heck with this. I'm not about to lose this Super Bowl. And I think that him following this being obedient thing actually kept him from winning the Super Bowl. If he wins the Super Bowl, I'm pretty sure that he's going to get out of town. Okay, not because of him, but because of his agent. He's the one that is actually going to negotiate a better deal somewhere else where he's going to be treated better. If he loses the Super Bowl, you're going to have one.
David, if he wins the Super Bowl, David, I'm sorry. If he wins the Super Bowl, he is going to get another contract from the 49ers, and they will put more money in front of him than any other team.
Yeah, but if he were to lose, I can almost guarantee you that a large part of the fandom, and even some people around football, will be looking at him one way, and they'll be looking at Kyle Shanahan with his squinty eyes. Did you guys lose the Super Bowl because of Jimmy G, or was it your play calling? Because at this time, I think Kyle honestly has lost some part of his reputation. They are not looking at him the same way they were looking at him before. Because, like I said, the way they did Jimmy G, they really did him dirty. And the way they have been using Trey Lance, I don't think that it has been to the benefit of his development as a QB. So I don't know. You guys tell me what you think.
David, thank you for the call. Look, we've been telling you what we think all show. It's what we do.
Yeah.
I think Jimmy's about to. Here's the thing. I don't know what's about to happen, but if I'm Jimmy Garoppolo, if I'm going to go down in a Niner uniform, I'm going to go down my way, not just Kyle's way. I'm not going to do anything to sink the ship intentionally. I'm not going to be reckless. I'm not going to be negligent. I'm not going to throw out a game plan and install the one I want in. But the wrinkle might be I'm going to get a little bit more aggressive with my arm. Everyone says that I got a good deep ball, and then we never actually see it. So do you have one? Do you have one? You know, what if all of a sudden he and a player that he's had no playing time with, Danny Gray, have a little connection? What if 3 weeks from now, the two of those guys are completely on the same page, and that guy is a go route and a threat of 6 almost every single time he snaps? Maybe Jimmy notices that. Maybe things change. Maybe 5 more running backs get hurt this week, and they'll have no choice but to have Jimmy be putting it in the air 50 times, because now your backfield is essentially Marlon Mack, who, by the way, was promoted today to the team's active roster. And guess who is back? Tevin Coleman is back on the team's practice squad. So there wasn't going to be a moment about this season that wasn't going to be interesting. The first 2 weeks of this season have been more interesting than people are even comfortable with. And now we're going to start playing some football. That's the one thing I'm looking forward to. Like, week 3 is week 1 for the Niners. Now we're playing some football. Now we're going to get our handle around who this team really is, and cross your fingers, decent conditions in Denver. So it's not going to be, but it was a weather event. I want straight up, fair across the board, your best against my best football. And then hopefully we get that again Monday night next week, 2 weeks, against the Rams. Now we're going to find out who the Niners really are.
I think week 4 you'll find out who they are. I don't know that you'll find them out in week 3 just because I don't believe in Denver. I think they're okay when they play teams that don't do much offensively. But I think against a team with a better defense who can basically give their offense the ball for 35 minutes a game, I think Denver's going to have a problem. And I don't think this is the test that people think it's going to be. I think next week because that's one of the few teams in the NFC that has legitimate Super Bowl aspirations. And the 49ers have the same. That's the first test they've got. Denver, if they lose to Denver, then you've got deeper problems than the quarterback.